At this point, we understand our data. We have the insurance charges data flow here. Let's click through and let's get started with training our machine learning model. Now, you can, of course, head over to the machine learning models tab, or you can click on this little brain icon and select the option to add a machine learning model. And the Power BI UI will walk you through the steps involved in setting up training. First, you need to select the table that you'll use for your training data. We have just the insurance charges table. Go ahead and select that. Next, you need to specify what you're trying to predict, that is the outcome column. Now, what we want to do is use all of the information we have about customers to try and predict the insurance charges for customers. So, go ahead and select the charges column. This is where you specify what data your model should train on. Now, if you train your machine learning models with a lot of irrelevant features, your model will be less robust overall. So, when you're working with a large number of features, it would make sense for you to take into account Power BI's recommendation. Now, since our data set is fairly small, and I'm also curious about whether these two features, sex and region, will actually be relevant or influencers for the regression model, I'm going to go ahead and select these two features to include them in model training. I wouldn't do this if I had a very large data set with many features and many records. Click on next and let's move on to naming our model. I'm going to call this insurance charges prediction. You can give a meaningful description here if you want to. And I'm going to train the model just for 5 minutes. Remember, the training time directly affects how good a model is produced from your data. Especially if you have a very large data set, you might want to train for a longer period of time. During this training time, Power BI service will work with Azure Machine Learning and train different models on your data and select the best performing model in your use case. Now, we'll train for 5 minutes. We have only about 1300 records in our dataset, so training for 5 minutes should be more than sufficient. Go ahead and save and start the training process. Power BI tells you what it will do next in the training process. It takes a statistically significant sample of your data, uses 80% of that to train your model, and the remaining 20% to evaluate your model. As your model is training on the main analysis workspace, you'll find a little spinning icon right next to your data flow. This shows that model training is still in progress. And once model training is complete, the status of the model will also change. Let's click through to this data flow. Notice that the training data and the testing data have both been created in separate